So in this lesson, we are going to learn how to create a contact form on our HTML page. So this is the simple contact us form which we're going to create, where you can enter your name, email address, and your message. Of course, it doesn't have any functionality as such, but you need to know how to first create a contact us form in HTML, and then later only you can actually style it with CSS and then add functionality with JavaScript and other tools. But first and fundamental, you need to know how to first create the contact form in HTML. So let's go ahead and create this contact us form. So what we're going to do is we are going to add an H2 heading and we are going to call it contact us. And in that we are going to add an input tag. So there we go. We have created the input tag. We have a nice placeholder out here. Again, an input tag is just a single tag. It doesn't require a closing tag. So this works in itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy it 3 times. So we have 3 placeholders, and also the single tags like input and image are placed in line one after the other and not like blocks, which is one above the other. So now inside the input tag, we are going to give the attribute of placeholder. So what this will do is basically it'll create that text inside of our input box. So the placeholder name which we're going to give, the first name is full name. So as you guys can see, it's a nice, beautiful text which has been created in our input box. And we are going to do the same thing for the other boxes as well. But currently I feel you just cannot pretty much observe what I'm actually doing in this tutorial because the whole contact us form is at the bottom. It would be more clear to you if this contact us was somewhere in middle of the page for you to clearly see what is happening with this tutorial right now. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add a BR tag. Now what a BR tag does is basically it's called the break tag, is the break element. So what a break element actually does is basically creates a new line. So it creates a sort of a space between 2 tags. So what I am actually going to do is I am going to copy paste this break tag multiple times so that a lot of space is created at the bottom, and then we can scroll down so that the contact us form comes in middle of the page. I'm going to show you exactly. This might sound confusing right now to you, but I'm going to show you exactly how this works. Now, because of all the break, there has been an empty space which has been created at the bottom. So now I can get this contact us form in the middle of the web page where it's clear for you to see on what kind of changes we're making in the code and how it is actually turning out in live. So now let's work on the code. So yes, again, as I had done this before, we are going to add a placeholder, and inside the placeholder, we're going to give it a placeholder name. So I'm just going to call it full name, and now you can clearly see that full name being displayed out here. I'm going to give it a little bit space, and I'm going to capitalize the name. Now let's move on to the second one. I'm just going to copy this and paste it out here, the same thing, the placeholder. I'm going to give it a little bit of a space so that the code is functional. And I am going to take out the full name, add email address out here on the second input element, and I'm going to take this last one out as well, and I'm going to write your message in this placeholder. So now we have our beautiful contact us form ready, but in the reference page we have the blocks one after the other, and out here we have it in straight line. So we have to change that. So again, to change that, we are going to add the break tag in between so that the blocks are one after the other, one above or below the other. So there we go. But the blocks placed out here, one after the other, are touching each other, and it looks quite chaotic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more BR tag out here, which is going to create that space between those input blocks. And now it's time for us to add, so we have it ready out here. We can enter our name, we can enter the email address, we can enter some random message, and yeah, our contact us form is pretty much ready. Now the only thing which is left for us to do is add that button on our contact us form. So after the 2 BR elements, what I'm going to do is add the button element out here. I'm going to close it off with another button tag, and our button is ready, but we can barely see the button. This is because we need to add some kind of text so that the button is visible. So I'm going to add submit out here, and as you can see, after writing submit, the submit button is ready for us and the button is clearly visible. So here we are. Our contact us form is pretty much ready. And with that, our website is also completely ready. So we learned the text elements, we created our navbar links, which are completely functional. Let's go back to home. We added images, we added videos, we added links, the outbound links which take us to a different page. And we also added links which take us inside our own website to different web pages. We also learned how to add audio. Let me play that again for you.
I am riding that really thin line between telling my friends how much I love them and being concerned I might be love bombing.
We learned about lists as well, ordered lists, unordered lists, and we learned how to create a contact us form as well. So we covered pretty much everything there is in HTML. The only minor thing left to learn now is the topic of semantic HTML, which I will cover in the later lesson. But for now, we officially know how to manually create a website, a non-stylized, non-functional website. And this is how websites were actually created, are still created. You know, when you do the manual coding, there's actually still created from HTML, then they're stylized with CSS, and then they are given functionality with JavaScript or any other programming language which complements the HTML and CSS. So with that, now you're an official HTML ninja. You can make your own websites. We are also going to do a small challenge where I'm actually going to tell you to create your own personal website. But before that, to cover minor topics, I will see you in the next lecture.